First and foremost, minutes. Scott, have you had a chance to review the 2 sets of minutes that Kristen sent us?
I have.
So apparently, any edits?
I had one question. Under action and discussion, 74 Oak Trail, it says removed water filtration letter issues. What does that mean?
I can change that to letter issued. I think we just sent.
Oh,
Okay.
it was issued. Okay. All right. With that one minor edit, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Is that on just the 10th? How about the 24th?
Oh, I didn't see the 24th. This was the one we did, the last one we did, right?
Yep.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve those minutes also.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're making a motion and accepting minutes of March 10th, 2020 and March 24th, 2020. All right. Kristen, is there any mail review, building permit applications, or anything else in the no appointment section we need to discuss?
No appointments. Building permits are listed. The ones that Bill
Yep.
has approved since the last meeting, and I last checked on probably Thursday or Friday of last week. And those are all on there. And then the mail items are in the packets. It's the Paragon water treatment and Bolton Orchards filter.
Okay. Fantastic. Then let's roll on into action discussion. Does everybody have a current copy of the COVID-19 from Jim Greffey dated 4/10/20?
Yeah. The one you just forwarded, right?
Yep. I
Okay.
sent that out this morning. And Kristen, this is on the town website as well?
No, this one is not, as is the number was the same from the week before.
Okay.
But I can certainly update this information and send it out, or I can wait until the new one comes in this week and send that out with a Board of Health news and announcement up, not necessarily maybe news and announcement, but also a just through the current site that I have on there that I update every day with the DPH COVID-19 response, command center response. I post the new one every day. It just doesn't go out in an email. I don't want to alarm
That's fine.
anybody for getting.
No, as long as the website's kept
Yep.
current, then I think we're good. Scott, anything you want to talk about in regard to the most recent report?
No, so we're still at one person confirmed. So that's great news. In terms of the protective equipment we've got in the bunker, I think somebody reached out to the public safety teams, right, on whether they had adequate and they're all set with their
They're good.
protective gear.
Yep.
Yeah, Kristen sent them an email. I mean, that was about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I actually spoke to Bumper and to the fire chief personally, and at the time they both seemed well stocked and confident of their sourcing, and both acknowledged the fact that they knew we had reserves if they needed them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when might we be doing another drill like we did? Are those annual?
Those are annual. That would be in the fall. We lined it up last time with the flu clinic at the high school.
Uh-huh.
So I would think that that department that runs that is not going to schedule anything right now. I think they're
Yeah, I'm
are
sure.
probably out straight with, the PPE requests and other duties that they have for the emergency preparedness. But I did send you guys the emergency drill recap. She took a map of the school that day, drew out where everything was, and she just sent that out toward the end of March. And I believe I sent that to both of you just to kind of, this is what we have. Useful information. I sent it to Bumper as well, not knowing if he got the report. Again, last year we probably would have just filed it and said, okay, great. This year it's probably something to have a little bit closer, just in case. So if you need me to forward that again, just let me know and I'll resend the email.
Yeah. What I was thinking about, and the reason I brought it up, is it probably would be if not sooner, good idea to take a look at what's in the bunker, like how much of that stuff is expired. The radios, I mean, what's the battery status? Do they even work? It'd probably just be a good idea to check some of that stuff.
Do you think we would be able to get into the school for that right now?
I'm not suggesting we necessarily do it right now, but
Okay.
it kind of highlights that the importance of some of that stock.
Yeah.
I think we could get it if we needed to. I mean,
If we had to, yeah. My thought plan would be maybe in the fall to go back and sort of recount everything, get a little bit more accurate numbers, and again, check to see when things are expired. And hopefully if the situation is better by then, we would have access to start ordering PPE ourselves. The gloves,
Right.
the masks. I hate to order them now and take them for where they're really needed. So I'm hoping by the fall, maybe we would be able to, I could start looking into ordering, through the budget that we have.
All right.
All right. Does that cover COVID-19 for the moment, or?
All I have.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at some point in the future, when there's discussion about starting things back up, we might want to think about any implications in Bolton, like for some of the businesses or whatever, but I think that's probably a ways away. And it'll be primarily dictated, I think, by the state or guidelines from the state.
Sure. And we'll have, and I don't disagree, it shouldn't have taken this to, gotten us down to that bunker to do a better inventory of what we've got there. We should know what the expiration dates are. And I think, frankly, we should also talk about a better spot for it too, because it's kind of in a common area that's, there's a lot going on down there. Maybe quarterly we inventory and figure out what we've got and what we can do with it.
Is it in that shelter by the athletic fields?
It's in the basement. Kristen, do you remember? I mean,
Yeah, when you walk in toward the office, you went down the hall. If the office was behind you, you would take a left down the hall and sort of around the corner. There's a back door that would be right there.
Yeah, it's not in dedicated space. I guess that's the one key piece for me, that it's stored with a lot of other random.
Correct.
And maybe that should change. But like I said, I think we can revisit when things are more back to normal. And
okay, yeah, I was up there a few weeks ago, and there was this outbuilding by the track buried. It actually goes into the berm, like right by the cemetery there, and it was labeled bunker. And so I was curious if that's where all this stuff.
No,
Or-
it's in the high school building.
Uh-huh.
If there was ever a need to use the high school as a dispensing site, the supplies would be there.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
34 Fox Run extension request. Bill,
I haven't seen a request yet. Kristen, have you? I've spoken to the owner, but I haven't seen it. So I guess we'll just bump that to next agenda.
Okay.
Okay. How about 1141 Main Street, Form 989B?
That is that house that was rehabbed as you go down the hill towards Bolton Orchards on the
Sure.
right.
Yep.
Again, this system's been being installed over the last, like, say, 5 years. I mean, the bottom line is the installer that began the system is not the installer that finished the system. So what we have now is an as-built situation and someone looking for sign off.
Mm-hmm.
And the initial installer, for some reason, moved the pump chamber from its proposed location closer to. There's a subsurface drain that connects kind of an upper and a lower wetland area, and the pump chamber falls within a Title V offset. So the upgrade form would allow the chamber to stay in place with that reduced offset.
Okay. How, and so I guess, how are we managing the 989B? Because that's
That again, I think we might have discussed that at last meeting. As far as physical signatures go, this is something that can be emailed. This is one that needs one board member signature, so it could be emailed, signed, and emailed back. I can sign, in Lancaster last meeting, I signed a permit for the board. Instead of having 2 or 3 signatures on it, I just signed it for the board.
Sure.
So, in towns like Stowe and I think Boxborough, the boards have given the agent that ability to sign for the board as long as it's approved at a meeting.
okay.
So however the board would like to handle that is up to you.
Okay. So I guess the question is, how do we look at this? I mean, I guess if you can explain.
Well, what I should do is I've had engineers email plans to Kristen.
Yep.
Didn't really dawn on me on this one, but maybe we could have that done for next meeting. That way you could view the plan, you could see the proposed location versus
Sure.
the built, and then move forward. So why don't we plan on that? I'll contact the engineer about emailing that to
Okay.
to Kristen.
Yeah, I think it'd be, if Scott and I can take a look at it and
Yep.
it's fine, then we can just tell you to go. I mean, I've got no objection to you signing on our behalf whatsoever.
Okay, I'll contact the engineer. So Kristen will bump that to next agenda automatically then.
And Form 9A, 9B is a variance.
Well, again,
Essentially.
it's the form that's used on an upgrade so that a variance doesn't need to be requested. Because again, a true Title V variance would involve notification of abutters and an actual public hearing. The 9A, 9B, when you're working with an existing, allows the board to relax certain sections of the code. They're spelled out in Title V, and this is one of them.
Okay.
All right. Then moving on to 6 McNulty Road ownership change.
Yep, that I asked Kristen to put that on. That's where we got our green, our certified mail back, not accepted. So we were going to look into having that served to the owner, but again, I guess we'll probably sit tight until things, are better out there versus sending a police officer, to a home to serve something.
Okay.
I
I did actually see some activity down there. Happened to drive by, and there, you can see action going on both pieces of property.
Well, I know Mike has been involved there because it looks like there might be some landscaping equipment there. So I think he might have sent out an order. I don't know if his certified was accepted or not. we're kind of waiting to see that.
All right, we can wait on that. 104 Spectacle Hill Road.
That's another one that we may bump to next. That's where a very large addition was put on a house, actually pretty much a new dwelling attached to an old. And as part of that approval, a new septic system was to be installed, and it wasn't. Well, it hasn't been yet, let's say. So maybe Kristen and I can reach out to Mike on that, because I think he said if we weren't getting any forward motion that he may become more involved, because technically that new addition / home, shouldn't really be occupied until the system's installed.
Sure.
Maybe we can follow up with Mike on that before next meeting.
Okay. Building permits, that looks like you've managed them all. Anything of note, anything of comment?
No, just, I don't know, is 241 Water Hill on there?
It is not.
No, it didn't make it because I just got the letter when I got back to the office
Oh,
today.
that's fine. So that was a building permit application, and it's a home that we did an upgrade at years ago, and it was never fully signed off. So I'm in discussion with owner and engineer on just getting a few loose ends tied up before we move forward on the building permit application.
Okay.
And what's going on with the cell tower?
Just doing some upgrades to it. There was no changes. So it came in as a building permit.
Uh-huh.
And because of they had an electrical permit, they had a building permit. The way the viewpoint works, the type of permit that was chosen goes through has the Board of Health as one of the options. Sometimes they're needed. Sometimes Board of Health would be needed. Sometimes they're not. But it's the type of permit they chose. I could look
Okay.
to see exactly type they chose, probably addition or alteration, because they were making a change to it. And when that happens, it automatically alerts Board of Health.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's a bill. So it's not anything that we had to get the Board of Health involved with from the building side. It's just the way that the workflow on those permits works.
Yeah, anytime, even before viewpoint, even adding a panel onto an existing antenna pole would have Board of Health sign off. Yeah.
All right.
Through the process.
Well, all right.
And I guess maybe we'll just mention FYI the emergency Beaver Dam breach permit that Chris, I talked to you about that. It might have been April 3rd. It was a Friday.
Yep, on Forbush Mill.
Yep, Rebecca had called and said there was kind of an imminent issue out there on DCAM property. So based on her emergency cert and my discussion with you, we did move forward and issue that permit to breach. And it was raining that day.
I happened to drive by that afternoon, and there were 3 trucks and equipment down there. So
Yep. It was raining that day, so I guess it was really time critical.
Sure, I get
I
it.
will make sure that gets added to the next agenda for an official approval.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, so we squared building permits.
Yes.
All right, moving on to septic permits. Bill, do you want to just assuming you have the same agenda, do you just want to run through them for us?
I don't have it in front of me, so I've got
Okay.
my list. If you want to just go through the order, tell me what you've
All
got.
right, let me start with 34 Fox Run Road permit extension requests.
Yeah, that's where we do not have the request yet. Yep.
Okay. 95 Meadow Road, a D-box.
Yeah, that is a D-box replacement permit, and that is based on a Title V inspection that I think we have tonight. I don't know if that made it to you, Kristen, or not, but so that's a simple. So again, on these simple D-box permits,
Sure.
again, will I be signing those for the board?
I think that would make the most sense. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that again is just for a D-box replacement
Sure.
based on a Title V inspection.
Yeah, and because that's kind of a time critical piece, I've got no problem. I think it makes more sense that you action that than us.
Mhm.
Long Hill Road, new lot.
Yeah, that one, Kristen, do you have that plan? No?
I don't believe I
Neil?
got that one in, but I can do a quick
Really?
search of my email, but I don't recall seeing it.
Because when I texted the engineer, he said he sent it. But if you don't have it, you don't have it.
So let's just move that one to the next meeting then. If we, don't have it.
Bill, do you know who the engineer was on that?
It was Ross Associates, but it was Neil Gorman was the actual person that I texted. And again, I don't know that this is time critical. I think this one will be with conservation for a while.
Okay, so we can push it to the next meeting comfortably?
Yeah. No, the only thing I have for, from Neil was a different, address. It was not anything for Long Hill.
Okay.
All right, then moving on to lot 52B, Cider Circle Septic Tank Pump Chamber.
Yeah, this is a 3-home shared system on Cider Circle. This is the last lot to be built. The other 2 homes are obviously up, occupied, and using the shared. Bob Pace is either buying or interested in buying this this lot, and the permit to tie the home to the shared, that permit expired. So he has applied for a new permit to tie, if he buys the lot and builds a home, to tie into that shared system.
So expired even beyond extension?
Oh, yeah. Yep. So this is a full fee and new permit. Yep.
Okay. 165 Sugar Road, D-Box.
So again, that can be something I'll sign also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. What's the next one?
133. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking lot 52B Cider Circle or 165 Sugar Road?
No, Cider Circle.
Okay, yeah, Cider Circle. Yeah, that's totally in your purview. So the next one is 165 Sugar Road, D-Box.
Yes, that
Done.
that work's actually been done already. I gave Frank Chiodo a verbal to do that, but again, we've got the permit for the work, and that was based on a Title V inspection also.
All right, 133 Vaughn Hill Road upgrade.
Yeah, that'll have to go to next meeting. I've spoken to the engineer about some additional information I need on that plan, so we'll carry that over.
Okay. 96 Hudson Road, septic tank and sewer line.
Yeah, this is the equine facility
Oh,
there,
sure. Okay. Yep.
Girl Scout camp. So, quite a while ago, we approved building permits for a barn with office, a 3-bedroom dwelling. So these permits are for septic tanks for each of those structures, one for the office barn and one for the 3-bedroom home. And also one for the sewer line connecting all of this is quite long and lengthy. It's got numerous cleanouts, some sewer manholes. If you remember, it's a very large site. All this activity is happening upslope.
Sure.
You recall at the base of the hill, there's an existing 8,000-gallon septic tank and a pump chamber that pumps to, the leaching bed that's down there. That, we reviewed the design calculations, and
Sure.
so far everything they're proposing works within that design flow.
And Bill, are they actually using the existing components that are there on that property, or are they?
Once these new tanks and lines, yes, they'll be tying into that existing 8,000, and then
Wow.
from the 8,000 on, it's all existing pump chamber. And again, it did pass a Title V, so all that all that looks like it's still working.
Wow, crazy. Okay, last on the list is 24 Hudson Road, a D-Box.
Yeah, and again, this is a D-Box permit based on a Title V inspection.
Okay. So inspection reports, I mean, I can call them out, but obviously we can't review them. I talked to Kristen at some point, and again, wrestling with this new world kind of meeting situation we're in. I guess my feeling, Bill, is that and again, not to put more on your plate, but you're going to have copies of these. We're not, really, I guess, just flag the ones that look problematic or have issues. And but if they're passes, I mean, I'm not sure we need to spend a lot of time on them.
No, I think if they're passes,
So maybe the ones that are passes, I do what I did today, just give you guys the cover sheet. And again,
Sure.
if I get the copies of them, I can save them. And I mean, I'm happy to put them in the packet. It just, one of them was like 20 pages. So, and
Right.
having so many of them, I was just trying to, and I tried to email them, but
I mean, I think actually that's an excellent idea, Kristen. If you sent just the page again so that Scott and I can see them, and if there's any, if we have any knowledge of the properties, whatever, and would believe it wasn't a pass for some reason, we could jump in.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple that weren't a pass, like 24 Hudson Road. I'm assuming that's a D box based on,
that was probably a conditional pass, which correct means that it needs that distribution box to be replaced.
yeah. And then 95 Meadow.
Yep, that was the same D box permit. Yep.
Yep, conditional pass. Yep, I see it now.
So there are a couple that will need letters. 75 Century Mill Road on the list.
Yeah.
It is on. Yep.
That is that's an IA. I think it's a fast unit, and what Title V inspection requires is that you get a copy of the current contract with the IA operator and a copy of the latest IA inspection. Neither of which was supplied in this report, and the inspector commented that the homeowner could not supply that information for it because if it does not
Sure.
have a current contact, we need to require one.
Sure. And do we know what IA system that is, Bill? Is it a?
I'm going to guess it's a fast, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
I can certainly go to the septic file and find out. But
Okay.
from the
I'm just curious. I mean, as to how serious a problem that might be.
well, only active treatment units need contracts and regular inspections. And the most common is the fast on single family homes. So that's why I'm guessing that's what it is. But certainly we can find out in the septic file.
Okay.
I notice 165 Sugar Road is a pass, but then there was a D box
Yes,
permit.
correct.
Yep.
So what's going on with that?
The
What?
box replacement was flagged as part of the inspection and was actually replaced before the inspection was complete. So the D box, the replaced D box is reflected in the report as a pass versus, coming in as a conditional and, being replaced, and then both will receive certificates of compliance. It's kind of the order in which things happen.
Uh, all right.
So just to jump to two others that will need letters, 75 Bolton Woods Way, is that on there?
It is indeed.
I don't know how the board wants to handle this. The inspector noted that there's brush growing over the SAS area. Now, if you recall on Bolton Woods Way, that would mean multiple home systems have brush growing over them. So, whose responsibility it's going to fall to, I don't know, but we could certainly begin with a letter to this owner.
I would agree, Bill. Let's send a letter. I would actually, again, maybe even ask that you go out there or I can go out there, because I mean, I remember doing my Title V inspection out there some time ago.
Yep.
And it was a lot of work to find everything because of how overgrown things are getting out there.
Right.
Which in this, which would not worry me typically, but given how sensitive or how critical a field this is,
Right.
feel it might be worth our while to check that out and make sure that that's cleaned up and maintained, because, my fear with Bolton Woods Way in general is that we've been very fortunate that everything's worked well, but, some bad behavior here could create a kind of a domino effect, and,
Correct. Yeah, I think the plan was to
Real
have those
problems.
areas maintained as just grass, but obviously over
Right.
time, if that's not done on a regular basis, you get all the opportunistic.
No. I mean, people are putting up fences in their backyards and stuff. I get that, and I think they're losing, sight of, physical sight of the property, and that may be what's complicating it.
All right, and then lastly, 73 Coventry Wood Road has a garbage grinder.
Okay.
So that would have to be removed and documentation supplied to the board.
Fantastic.
If we could jump to permits, I guess I have one other that didn't make it on the list, but 117 Burnham Road. I think we had done that Title V possibly last meeting, and it was a conditional. So I actually have the permit to replace that distribution box. I don't know why that wasn't on my list, but again, if that can be signed, I'll move that forward. If it has to go on next agenda officially, that's fine.
So what was the address again, Bill?
117 Burnham.
Okay. That's fine. Works for me.
We can add it on to the next action discussion just to recap it and close it out officially.
Yeah, because the Title V, the Title V was done in March, so my guess is we've seen it at a meeting, and this is just the permit to do that work. Yep.
Sounds good. All right. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
Not on my end.
No. Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, folks.
Have a good night.
Aye. Yeah, have a good night.